The taxi driver told the story, according to his colleague. On his behalf.
Went somehow with an order. Morning, lousy road with remnants of asphalt. Suburb, but the price for the trip is good, and there are no traffic jams, the road through the forest. I thought I would go to an empty city, but to my happiness I picked up an elderly man in the middle of the way. I drove him to the entrance to the city, exchanged numbers. The man said that he often travels to those parts, and if I take such orders, he will call me. After that everything is normal. Several times this man called me, agreed, and I drove him from the outskirts of the city to the place where I picked him up for the first time. But there was something about it that bothered me. I sincerely thought that this is a gardener and that there are gardens, summer cottages, or at least some kind of recreation center in that area, since it is very far from the nearest city or village, but there was nothing on the maps except for the forest, at least within walking distance accessibility. If this is a gardener, mushroom picker or tourist, then he should have something with him, and this one even travels without a bag. He leaves for the forest at night, and I pick him up in the morning. What to do in the forest at night? Another order from this guy. During the trip, I decided to ask where. They say, he goes. And the man so glared unkindly and is silent. He only grunted that there was no time for talking, his leg hurts. This time his leg was really bandaged, and on the way to the car he limped badly, so they fell silent. During the trip, I glanced at the leg a couple of times and that's what's interesting. The man is brunette, and from under the bandage some blonde hair sticks out and is somehow unusual. I caught myself thinking that it was not normal to look at men's legs, and this time the passenger was somehow nervous. Maybe my questions stressed him so much. I usually drive in silence, I just listen to the radio quietly. We reached the place, he paid, silently got out of the car and hobbled into the forest. I don't know what the hell made me want to be curious and follow him. I turned around, pretended to leave, parked myself on the side of the road and followed him. Surprised that there was not even a path there. All the manipulations with the machine were a matter of a few minutes, and the peasant, due to a leg injury, moved slowly, so I clearly followed him, seeing his back. 20 minutes passed like that. I was already feeling uneasy. It was almost dark in the forest, the road and the car were far behind, and I was in the forest with some strange man who was going nowhere. At this time, the peasant reached the nearest bushes, and I lost sight of him. It was the most intense moment. Minutes passed, and no one appeared from the bushes. Noticed me and hid. What will happen next? Now it wasn't funny at all. A dog runs out of the bushes. The usual shabby mongrel, limping on one paw. The light coat allowed her to be clearly seen before she disappeared into the forest. I waited a couple more minutes and walked around the bushes, no one, climbed into the very depths, empty. I tried to get back as quietly and quickly as possible. Without incident, I got to the car and drove off to the city. No more orders were received from this strange man.